everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lena Saleh, the Edtech Guru, where we explore all things Edtech and education related. All right, let's do this. Today I want to talk about how we need to adapt our professional development. I know that talking with many of my friends who are still teachers, you don't work 10 years in education and not have teachers as friends. They have been posting about how they're sitting in meetings that they typically sat in for the first few weeks of school, those really pointless meetings. Not that they're not important, but if you can take anything from industry is that the way that professional development or even meetings are run in businesses, Gary Vee will tell you, there's lots of other podcasts about how they're doing meetings and how meetings can be really pointless when people go to them. There's another way that they can receive the instruction or whatever training that you're doing, and you can just give that to them via a YouTube video, and you can actually track and see who's watching the videos and doing the trainings. Really great services for that. But if we don't shift to preparing our teachers for the remote learning, that we're going to be at pretty big loss. There was a research study that came out from the University of Virginia and the Edtech Evidence Exchange that 27% of teachers reported receiving professional development for technology-based remote instruction for the spring of 2020 that was informal, self-initiated learning. However, administrators reported almost twice as many teachers, 52% of them received formal learning opportunities. Overall, both groups cited informal and teacher-initiated professional learning as the primary method of teacher training for technology-based remote instruction. Teachers said that they sought to learn from educators working in contexts similar to mine in making those EdTech decisions. We know that the need for professional development grew quickly in the spring for teachers. They were forced to flip their worlds upside down and do remote instruction for which they never were prepared for the digital age that we live in. The way that school systems are set up were set up like they were 100 years ago when the Industrial Revolution happened. And if we look in the world that we live in today, it's very rare that it looks and mirrors what the students are learning in the classroom right now. There were and have been pockets of school districts that are doing really great things around professional development learning. I know that Los Angeles Unified School District has a pretty comprehensive instructional technology program in which they train their teachers and really prepare them. I've sat in on many of conversations from the LAUSD webinar series that they did about coronavirus and the pandemic and how it was affecting schools and how they can transition. And I know that they had about 130 professional development sessions. They adapted to what they needed to do, and they did it pretty quickly. I saw them working very, very fast to kind of get that up and running. They're doing some really great work, and it's a very large district, as we know, but it's really great to see large districts making such large switches to make sure that they're supporting their teachers. There's other places like in Pennsylvania, which they're still not yet completely transitioned for back to school, that'll say that their professional development opportunities have to keep in mind that there are different levels of where teachers are. We know that most schools were, like I mentioned before, set up for a world that isn't preparing them for the world that we live in today, and that's just the way that it is. Hopefully, this will make school districts open up their eyes and realize that they need to shift for the new change. School, I can guarantee you, is going to change. This year is going to be a big learning curve. I see a lot of teachers pulling their kids out of school to put them into those online learning academies just because they're better set up for success. But if we don't support our teachers for distance learning, our schools will start to see a ripple effect. I know that I've had a lot of teacher friends this week and even my own family members switching to remote learning and saying that they still have yet to get any training for it. They were told that they had to use these specific tools, and yet they still don't have the tools in their back pocket to be able to do it. I've seen lots of teachers just posting and panicking in these Facebook groups that I belong to about how they're preparing for remote learning. There's never been any real clear translation through the pipeline. We can see that pretty clearly with Buckeye Elementary School District, where they're preparing 5 reopening plans. Yes, 5 reopening plans and contingency plans to move forward. You can tell that the top is pretty busy. But if we don't start changing and adapting for the distance learning, we're really going to ultimately be failing our students. And that's going to trickle down in that you'll see a rise of online schools where the parents are then going to take their kiddos. Obviously, not all kiddos. People have to work. So they have to go to school. It's convenient, it's what needs to happen. Or what you'll start to see is already happening right now is those after school providers are shifting because they're actually daycares. And they're letting the kids take the schools from they call it the Zoom sessions. So they're going to their Zoom sessions. And then after the Zoom sessions, they have the ability to take some extracurricular activities that they wouldn't normally have had the opportunity to do. So your learning is happening in 2 or 3 hours. Think about all the other opportunities for learning is taking place. We're seeing that lots of districts are cutting things like computer science, just tools that kids need for the future, just so low down on the list that they're not thinking of the students for the future. What I want to say is that professional development needs to be prepared for remote learning. It's not going to go away. It's something that we need to be thinking about, and we need to be giving them options, because the truth in the matter is that most of the teachers don't know how to use these tools. They could be young, they can be old, they could be veteran, they could be new. Everyone's walking in the door pretty much with the same experience, and that is a lack of experience with the tools that you're wanting them to use. And so if you don't give them support to use the tools are going to go by the wayside, and you're going to have a lack of instruction from teachers. You're going to see the same remote emergency style learning. What I can't wrap my head around, what I have trouble understanding is all summer long, the pandemic hasn't gone away and we've been seeing the numbers rise, but yet we haven't seen the schools preparing to go back. The decisions have taken so long to figure out, and then now you're in a rush. You have 1 week to learn how to do a tool, to adapt learning that you've never done before. Then I talk with the top of the top, and they're just saying, I hope nobody cries this semester. The sad thing is that we're doing a disservice not only to our teachers, but to our students. And at the end of the day, if our students are failing, then everything else is failing. Choose a learning management system, as I've mentioned before, and then have your teachers meet in teams, but have them meet in content teams with other people in the district. Have them meet virtually, because that's what they're going to have to do. Get all of your science 4th grade teachers, all of your science 5th grade teachers, all of your math teachers, and break it up. Or if you only have non-content subjects, like only 1st grades, only 2nd grades, only 3rd grades that are just doing all the content, break them up and have them volunteer to be the science lead, and somebody be the math lead, and somebody be in each of the schools, and then they can break it up, and then each school site is doing the same sort of content development, and they're breaking up the gap between them. It's important that we're preparing them this way. I know a lot of teachers have been doing teacher-initiated trainings, and as valuable as that is, it's not going to create a consistency in your district, because somebody is going to have a really strong skill set with this tool, another one's going to have a really strong skill set with this tool, and that could trickle down from somebody using IXL to somebody using Dreambox. And not like the students aren't receiving the same type of content, but the issue is you're just having a lack of consistency amongst your district. So have the teachers get together and have them work on the professional development. The more that you push the teachers down, the more that you're going to see the teachers are going to start walking away from the field. And that's not what we want. We want them to feel lifted and protected. But we're asking a lot of teachers right now, more than we've ever asked of them in a long time. And that's to push them into a new comfort zone, B, the stress of a virus that nobody knows anything about, and C, they just know that the students that are coming to them this year, they've never met in person. They're learning in a new way than they never have thought that they would ever have interacted with students. They're sad coming back to school. You miss the parent and teacher interaction between the students and the teachers, and just having that partnership between them. But now you're learning and you're meeting a student online. It's not as meaningful. So we have to create meaningful opportunities for the teachers. And so creating teams is going to make them feel more valued. I mean, I would feel more valued, and you would too, if you know that you are carrying some weight and importance instead of just being pushed down all the time. And it's time that we really value and understand that. And it is sad that obviously it all falls on the teachers' shoulders, and the teachers are really honestly the weight barriers, and we see that more now than ever. And we see people turning their backs on teachers because they're walking away and they don't feel confident. So the way to give them confidence is to support them in the tools that they need for success. Remember that we're all in this together. Collaborate, communicate, and connect with one another. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Once again, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. My name is Lena Saleh, the EdTech Guru. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.